Ready, spaghetti, alphagetti, minzanetti, bledidaddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
And welcome.
To Ghoul Society. That's my big sister Jamie.
And that's my little sister Sarah. We are grateful to be recording on the unceded, stolen territories of the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations and the Lekwungen and Wasanich peoples, whose historical relations with the land continue to this day. As uninvited guests, we are committed to disrupting racism and colonial violence within ourselves, our families, and our communities. By listening to this podcast, you've officially been inducted into the Ghoul Society.
It's a Ghoul Society for me and you, and you and you and you.
And you and you and you, and me and me and me, and you and me.
Everybody is welcome here.
Woo!
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming and being here and listening to our crazy shenanigans.
We love hanging out with you.
Yeah,
so
we
thanks.
do. We really do.
We really love you. Oh,
yeah, that's so cute. So cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, you're so looking so cute today.
Yeah, you look so good today.
Yeah, you're like
Look
a
at
little
you.
snack.
You're what? You're doing great.
You're doing
well.
so great.
We're so proud of you.
We're so proud. Those dishes you're washing.
Maybe you didn't even do them. Still proud of you.
Still proud of you.
Maybe you laid in bed all day. That doesn't matter.
Nope.
We're still proud of you.
Yep.
You
We're
did
still
great.
super proud. Yeah. Great job. Great job staying alive today. Staying alive. Staying alive.
Yeah.
Got any news to report?
Any news to report? Well, I'm a month and a half away from my race.
Ooh.
I know. I'm very nervous.
Yeah. I'm nervous for my practicum that starts on Monday. In 2 days. That makes me really nervous.
You're going to do so good.
Thanks.
And Mom's coming next weekend.
Yep.
And it's your birthday next weekend.
Yep. And I have a big picnic party planned.
Picnic party.
Woohoo!
And
By the time this comes out, I'm sure we would have done it, and it would have been incredible.
yeah, it's supposed to be nice, I think. So
Good.
hell yeah on that.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, super excited for that. And what else? Trying to start work on the garden a bit. The boys were
Ooh.
working when I left.
Nice.
I was like, yeah, you guys get to work.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty fun.
Good job, boys.
Yeah, they're doing that. And yeah, I don't know what else. I
Cool.
really want like a sweet treat right now.
You know what's funny? I was driving back to my house after dropping off Bristol, and then I was like, I should stop at what's it called?
I don't know.
Good Time
Good
Pastry?
Side?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
their
gonna stop
croissants are
there.
so good.
I was gonna stop. I was gonna get you a treat. I was gonna get myself a treat, but they weren't open until 10 o'clock, and I was like,
I know.
damn, not happening.
I know.
So here
They're
we are.
open late. The line is always down the block
Yeah. Oh my god.
to the frickin' bus stop.
It's crazy. I've
Because
only
it's so good.
Yeah. I've only gone there one time for things.
Yeah. It's very good.
The time I went there wasn't a line. It must have been like a weekday or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I
Must
was
have been
like, I
just
see
a good
my
time
chance.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, you ready for the story?
Yeah.
It's not going to be super long, so
Okay.
I think
is
that's
it
good.
spooky ooky?
it's not really spooky ooky. It's just a little fucked up.
Classic Jamie, no spook, all fucking up. Kidding.
So true. Always just fucking up.
No,
Yeah.
that's not what I meant.
No, I know.
What's your story about today?
In 1916, 1,200 kilometers, that's 1,200, off the coast of Mexico, a giant cyclone was battering a really small island. Contrary to its uninhabitable conditions, Clipperton Island was, at this point, home, quote unquote, to a total of 12 people, 11 of which huddled in the basement of one of the women's houses, waiting and praying for the storm to pass. Eventually, everything quieted, and the 3 women and 8 children crawled out of the basement and onto the sand to see all the other houses destroyed in the chaos of the storm. Suddenly, a disheveled man appeared, the antisocial keeper of the lighthouse, who rarely set foot into their area of the island. He methodically searched the rubble for any weapons he could find, grabbed one of the women by her wrists, and took off back toward his lighthouse.
What?
This is the story of the Clipperton Island Colony.
I've never heard of this in my life.
Me neither, until the other day.
This is crazy.
It's kind of fucking crazy. So first we're going to talk about the island.
Questions.
The physicalness of the island.
Okay.
So the island is only 10 kilometers squared in size.
Oh, so cute.
And it rises about 3 meters out of the ocean.
Oh, no.
So it's literally Thailand. Tiny. Thailand means tiny island. It's Thailand. No, it's not Thailand. Okay. It's a tiny island. Technically, it's an allot. Have you heard of that word?
No.
Which, like, an allot is a certain
archipelago?
Yeah. Wait, let's double look it up, because I don't want to get yelled at.
Archipelago?
Listen, I'm sorry. I said a lot, right? But it's actually called atoll. I'm just a little dyslexic. And an atoll is a ring-shaped coral reef, island, or series of islets that encircle a central lagoon. So I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but it technically is an atoll, but it's technically an island.
Okay.
Some people say blah, 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 whatever. So as I said, in the middle of this island, there's a large freshwater lagoon, which takes up most of the island space.
Okay, yeah.
And it leaves only 1.7 kilometers squared of actual
and people
land.
were living on there?
Yeah.
What are they, crazy?
We'll get to that later.
Where and why
it gets
just
worse.
Women and children and that one lighthouse man?
Okay, listen.
Oh no, is it another cult?
No, but as I was writing that, I was like, Sarah's going to think that this is a cult.
Yeah, so like he's the leader of the lighthouse island army.
Kinda, yeah. The lagoon, it doesn't have any fish or creatures except algae and seaweed beds. Whoa. It's mostly shallow except a spot in the lagoon that's known as the Trou Sans Fond, which means bottomless hole.
Oh.
Which apparently has acidic water at its base. I know, it's kind of crazy.
Who would live here? How are they getting their drinking water? They're drinking the from the lagoon?
The water is almost fresh at the surface, but it's highly eutrophic, which means that it's devoid of oxygen from too high of nutrients, like too many nutrients in the water, which have depleted the oxygen in the water.
That's why there ain't no fishies.
That's why there's no fish, and that's why there's so much algae and seaweed that covers 45% of the surface.
Okay.
So that's the lagoon, and the rest of the island, Clipperton Island, because it's surrounded by coral all around it, and the weather is super tumultuous, it makes landing on the island or anchoring offshore extremely challenging.
Yeah.
When it comes to wildlife and nature things, besides oceanic creatures, there are crabs, seabirds, and some coconut trees that line the lagoon along the beach. So there's not a lot going on here.
Okay.
From May to October, Clipperton is relentlessly battered by storms, and during other parts of the year, it apparently smells like ammonia, which I think is probably due to the lagoon. But I don't really know. Did you just look up a picture of it?
I'm looking up a picture of it because I need to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I did not think the lagoon was that big.
I know.
It's literally the tiniest little ring of sand.
I know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Who would live there?
Crazy, right? I'm gonna get to it.
There's a landing strip.
Yes, the landing strip was built in the 40s.
Oh, they made it.
Yes. Oh, yeah, they
Do people still live there?
No, but there's like some kind of like military like base type thing there. I think that France owns the island.
Yeah,
it's a long story. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, this literally... Like, what the fuck is that? Like, actually.
No, I know. So I was looking at pictures, and there's one where it's just like
Some
vast
palm
ocean,
trees.
a little scuff of sand, and like 5 palm trees.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's actually insane.
I know.
Whoa.
I know.
Well, in this photo, there's like no land because all the waves.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Fucking crazy people, man.
the reason that this island became so notorious and famous, well, it became famous for one other reason later on, which you'll find out. But people wanted this land and this island, and they fought over it because of guano. Do you know what that is? It's poop.
Because of poop?
Yeah.
What's
Bird poop, seal poop.
Why did they want the poop? Oh,
For fertilizer.
Industrialization?
Yeah, for fertilizer.
Well, can't they just use cow poop?
No, this is like hella good poop.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So
literally.
Literally shit. So that was back in the day. Now the island just kind of collects trash, including a package that contained almost 3 pounds of cocaine, which was found by a 2015 scientific and amateur radio expedition.
What's with all this cocaine being everywhere?
Did you know? And then, okay, yeah.
Did you know there's a season of Survivor where cocaine washed up onto one of the group's beaches?
What? Did they do it?
They cut it. No, they cut it from the show. But yeah.
That's
cocaine
so
washed
crazy.
up on one of the Fiji beaches.
I think people often dump it. Like,
well,
they
duh.
get rid of the package.
Well, duh.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, because also in 2023, a group from France's armed forces collected more than 440 pounds of plastic waste from the island and another bale of cocaine from the beaches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that people are just like have this cocaine on their boat and then they're like, oh, you know, I'm not feeling very good about this. I don't think I can hide it as well as I thought. I'm just going to throw it overboard. Do you think that's what happens?
I don't think they feel bad. I think that they see maybe a Coast Guard or something.
No, that's what I mean.
Yes,
like they're worried
yes.
about getting caught.
Yes.
Whether they like go to a new country on their fucking yacht or whatever they're doing, or they see the Coast Guard or whatever and they're like, oh shit, throw it overboard.
Yeah.
Damn.
Which is wild.
That's so crazy. What a waste of money, you idiots.
I know. Don't do cocaine, kids.
No.
I'm going to get into the colonization of the island, okay?
Okay.
So remember, it's to the south of Mexico. Technically, it should be owned by Mexico. But we're going to get into all of that.
Thanks, France.
The first recorded person, to set foot on the island and or discover it was John Clipperton, hence his name, Clipperton Island. That was in the 1700s.
Whoa.
So he was an early 18th century pirate, which at the time essentially was the same job as being a privateer. And privateers worked for governments and hassled for foreign vessels around the globe. So they literally were pirates. They stole boats.
It's kind of fun.
They hassled, quote, for foreign vessels, end quote. John Clipperton's...
I love pirate times. It's fucking cool.
John Clipperton's main targets were Spanish vessels around Mexico, and that's why he was around that area. In 1705, Clipperton was only at the island for a brief period of time, and this marked the beginning of interest by humans of the current era. People may have made it to this island before, obviously, and used it for the same purpose, for collecting guano.
Oh.
However, like, it's pretty far. It's like 1,200 kilometers. But I mean, people have had ships for centuries and centuries and centuries.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it was discovered in the past. 100 years later, in 1804, Alexander von Humboldt was in Peru, and he noticed the natives of Peru using bird poop as fertilizer. He then somehow stumbled upon the island. He took a sample back to Europe to have it analyzed, and it blew their minds. Like, everyone's like, this is the best guano we've ever seen. It made amazing crop yields, and it essentially was like magic.
guano.
Yeah. So then that's how it became popular for everyone.
Damn. So now everybody's fighting over this island.
Yeah.
Typical fucking white people are just taking stuff from the indigenous peoples, you know? They're like, oh, what are they doing? Oh, well, actually, we're going to do that too now. And then you can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So then this crazy thing happened in 1856 called the Guano Islands Act. This enabled any American to claim any uninhabited island around the world that had guano on it. I don't know how they do these things. They just they're like, well, here's a new act that we're doing where we're going to claim whatever we want.
I mean, remember?
It's crazy.
Remember when the U.S. renamed the Gulf of Mexico?
Wait, no?
Oh, it's not. Well, according to them, it's not called the Gulf of Mexico anymore.
What?
It's called the Gulf of the U.S. or something.
Oh my God. Shit. Idiots. That same year, Oceanic Phosphate Company, which is an American company, put miners on the island to gather all the guano. And then that's when Mexico was like, wait, that's actually our island?
Yeah, what the hell?
And they wanted the U.S. to know that they considered Clipperton to be theirs.
Hell yeah, Mexico.
However, randomly, Napoleon III declared Clipperton Island to belong to France.
That's just so ridiculous. It's not even near France. Get your own fucking island.
I know.
Get your own island. There's
many islands.
There's islands around.
I actually don't know at all.
Probably. There's islands around the south of France, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. God. 2 years later, in 1858, the French removed the American miners. They just were like, it's ours now.
And the Americans listen because they're white?
I guess so. I don't know. Maybe they killed them. I have no idea.
Oh, well, okay.
But then Clipperton was actually folded into the Overseas Department of Tahiti. So this is what I mean. It's going around. Okay. We're just going to zoom over these things.
Yeah.
In 1870, the France Empire crashed, and the new France Republic didn't want to defend Clipperton anymore. They were like, we don't actually care. Never mind. So then America tried to take the island again.
No.
But Porfirio Diaz, who was a former general in the Mexican army, they seized power in 1886, and they staked a claim to Clipperton Island in 1897.
Okay.
10 years later. A small Mexican group went to the island and removed the American miners again.
Okay. Goodbye, Americans.
However, when they left the island, because they were like, well, we can't leave people here.
Yeah.
Then in 1899, the British Navy took it over.
Oh, no. Now the British are involved too?
Yeah. So.
No.
I know. Diaz, he was pissed off, so they tried another tactic. They were like, British, hey Brits, you guys can work on Clipperton Island and you can reap all the profits, but you have to recognize Mexican sovereignty over the island.
Hell yeah.
So they were like, sure, we don't care. So in the early 1900s, the British built rock gardens, they built veggie gardens, they tried to plant a bunch of things. They planted more palm trees, they created houses and a lighthouse on the island.
Got it.
Then, very soon after, the Brits realized that they were actually wasting their time on the island because it wasn't giving them enough profit.
Yeah.
And it was way too much work. And they were like, never mind. And so they left the island in 1909. When they left behind one man and his wife to act as caretakers.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like,
imagine
you guys got this, right?
Fucking straw.
I know.
Okay, which one of us is staying? Oh, you're a couple? You're staying here.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
That's insane.
Diaz ordered 13 soldiers. The following year. So Diaz heard about all of this, and he's like, okay, perfect timing. He ordered 13 soldiers with their wives and their workers and whoever they wanted to bring to go to Clipperton Island to colonize the island.
Okay.
So in 1910, 100 people ended up on Clipperton Island.
There's no way that island can fit 100 people. There's no way. No. It literally cannot. I've seen pictures. It literally cannot house 100 people.
I know. Well, it's 10 kilometers squared.
Minus the lagoon.
Yeah. It's like all of like the Victoria area. Wait, let me look.
There's no way. I don't believe that.
Yeah, so like 10 kilometers. Okay, wait, one more second.
10 kilometers squared. Still doesn't look inhabitable to me. Oh, you can still go there? Kind of cool.
Okay, so like all of this area pretty much.
Oh.
Like this is Victoria.
Yeah.
I think Victoria across is only like 8 kilometers. Maybe 10, maybe more.
Oh.
But like it's a big island.
Yeah.
So now you kind of get the idea. Because it's 10 by 10 kilometers.
I understand that, but I just think like the ring of available land that is not in the sea.
Yes.
How can that hold 100 people? It's so skinny and you can't, like some of it is like marsh. Like you can't, you know what I mean?
I know.
And there's like this huge rock too.
Yeah, that's where the lighthouse was.
Oh, why'd they take it away?
Apparently that was an old volcano.
That's pretty freaking cool.
I know. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. It's kind of ridiculous. But there's 100 people on the island.
Okay, I get it now.
I'm going to name a few people who will be part of our main story.
Okay.
There's Raymond Arnaud, who he's the governor. But technically, he was an army deserter. And so he was being punished by being dumped on the island.
Oh, shit.
They're like, you can go work on the island. Bye.
Whoa, that kind of sucks for him.
Then there was his wife, Alicia Rovira Arnaud. She was a socialite, apparently.
Oh, still, even though her husband was a disgrace back in those times?
Yeah.
Damn.
Then there's Alta Gracia Quirotes.
Hey.
I think she's like in her 20s. Then there's Tirza Randon. She's a teenager. And then there's Victoriano Alvarez, who was the lighthouse tender.
Okay.
And he was like really unsociable and moody.
And that's
he
why
just
he
kept to
steals
himself.
that woman after the storm.
Pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, he essentially stays like in the lighthouse. He doesn't really involve himself with everyone else.
Damn.
So the island was supplied every 2 months by a ship from Acapulco. Even though the previous workers had created a garden and had some sources of food from fish, crabs, and coconuts, it wasn't enough to stay in life, and especially not 100 lives.
Yeah.
So that's why the ships would come and drop off supplies.
Okay.
However, as World War I came into focus and the Mexican Revolution began,
oh no,
regular resupply visited. I'm
okay?
failing. No.
It's okay.
Regular resupply visits ceased.
Oh.
And the inhabitants were left to fend for themselves. AKA they were forgotten.
Stranded.
They were stranded.
Did they have boats?
They had one little boat. But like because the coral situation, it's actually pretty much impossible to get off the island, and it was so far away.
Right.
There was no like place for a boat to just dock and be there. So it was just like a little like pull up on the shore type boat.
Yeah, but they can have multiple of those and then just row the 1,200 kilometers.
Yeah, just row the 1,200 kilometers on the open ocean where it's super tumultuous in a tiny ass wooden boat. Totally fine. Totally fine.
Yeah, why not?
In February 28th of 1914, a schooner called Nokomis wrecked on Clipperton.
Oh.
4 members of the crew volunteered to row the lifeboat from the schooner to Acapulco for help. The USS Cleveland arrived months later to rescue the crew.
Oh, shit. Well,
so
there's a war going on.
Yeah. They explained that the revolution was still in full swing, and as we said before, the war was happening. So the captain offered to transport the survivors of the colony back to Acapulco, but Arnaud refused. He was like, no. So either he kept thinking a supply ship was going to come, or he felt that he couldn't abandon his post again for fear of repercussions.
Oh,
which is really sad because
sad.
What happens is way worse than what would have happened if he just went back. Probably.
no.
Probably.
Awkward. Okay.
By 1915, due to the violent weather and the conditions on the island, the once bountiful vegetable gardens were swept away, and the inhabitants only had coconuts and crabs left to eat. So, of course, people succumbed to scurvy. Their gums started bleeding, their teeth were falling out, and people were dying very quickly.
Oh, no.
The dead were buried in the sand deep enough to prevent the crabs from eating their bodies.
Oh, no.
But yeah, by 1916, a year later, 3/4 of the colonists were dead.
Oh, no.
Raman...
They all just died?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep.
What are they gonna do?
I don't know. Raymond Arnaud was getting desperate.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because he doomed everyone by refusing evacuation of the island. He literally did. He was like, yeah, this is my fault. Sorry, everybody. But then, super randomly, he spotted a ship. He was like, I see a ship out there. We gotta chase after this vanishing ship because it's going way faster than we can do. So he got most of the men on board that little boat that I was talking about that they had.
And they rowed their boat.
The ship. They rowed. Yep. Now, in some recordings of the story, once they were out on the water, there was no sign of any ship. And it was possible that Arnaud was actually just suffering from a delusion.
Oh, no.
From hunger and thirst.
Oh, that sounds like a horror story.
The 3 other soldiers became angry and attempted to overpower Arnaud and take his weapon. The struggling men all fell overboard, however it happened, and they drowned in the waves.
Whoa.
The surviving women and children watched as the small boat capsized, and they saw all the struggle happen. So, now we're back to where our story began.
That's how tumultuous the ocean is around that area?
Yeah.
You can't even swim in it?
No, and because the reefs, because they just, like, fuck you up. Because reefs are, like barnacle vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I've walked on those.
Yeah.
Cut my feet up.
Yeah, so.
So now there's only women and children and the lighthouse man.
That's right. As we know, a giant storm disintegrated. Yeah, so all, like, that happened, and then literally 2 hours later, a huge storm came
same
in.
day?
Same day.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The storm disintegrated the houses, and a bunch of the shelters were blown away. The women and children took the refuge in the cramped basement of Arnaud's home.
Wow, lucky that they had a basement, because how did they have a basement on that island?
How does anyone build anything anywhere?
How did they have a basement?
Engineers, reach out to us. Why don't they just dug in the sand?
But doesn't the sand just cave in?
No, not necessarily, but it does get wet, so I don't really understand.
Okay.
Not only this, but...
Also, sturdy lighthouse for surviving that storm.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
it was also up on the rocks.
Yeah, but
a little higher up. Yeah. Well, the lighthouse was made, like, out of proper material, I think.
Oh, okay.
Arnaud's wife, Alicia, she went into labor with the couple's 4th child.
During the storm?
Yeah, in the basement.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. And they named this child Angel.
Oh my god, they survived?
Yes, they survived. I'll give that to you, just to make you feel better.
Oh. And then the lighthouse man kills them all.
No, so then, this is who's left. Alicia, Tirza, Altagracia, and a handful of children survived. As said before, they saw the lighthouse keeper arrive abruptly at the settlement, and this was, to remind you, this was Victoriano Alvarez.
Right.
Who also, very unfortunately, survived the storm. So he's pulling all the weapons out of the rubble, and he's taking them out so that he can lock them away in his lighthouse. Some recordings of history claim that he actually threw the weapons in the lagoon.
Oh.
But either way, he came back and told the women that he was King Alvarez, master of the island, and they lived only to please him and do as he said.
Oh no.
So now we get into a new era of Clipperton Island.
So he just went bonkers crazy.
Yeah, some people think like maybe he was having a psychotic break and from living on the island and like being alone and being a lighthouse keeper. But also like he didn't have to be there by himself. He could have gone and joined like the community but he kept himself. So I think that it's kind of a mix of a lot of things happening.
Yeah, he wanted to be secluded, but then he probably kind of lost his mind because humans are not made to be isolated like that.
No, but other people who have been isolated like that don't end up doing what he does. So
it's true. I guess it just depends on your brain chemistry. Thank you, brain.
Thank you, brain. Alvarez began a campaign of enslaving women for his desires. One mother-daughter pair refused to obey him, and to teach the others a lesson, quote unquote, the mother and daughter were raped and then killed by gunshot.
Oh my God.
Other articles claim that they were beaten to death, but either way, they died a really, really terrible death. Wow. Alicia was subjected to daily beatings, and the other women were sexually assaulted again and again. Tirza would be abducted for weeks at a time. Alvarez would keep her in the lighthouse where he sexually abused her. Now, Tirza was the most outspoken about her hatred of Alvarez.
Whoa.
But she just couldn't figure out a way to escape his wrath.
Yeah, of course. That's terrifying.
So terrifying.
And they don't have any weapons or anything because he took them.
Yeah. So they literally can't do anything.
Yeah.
They're stuck on this fucking island. It's all just hell. And they also have to keep these children alive, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much bullshit happening. Alicia was not yet sexually assaulted by Alvarez. However, Alvarez knew that she would immediately tell everything to any outsider who appeared on the island.
Oh.
And due to this, Arnaud threatened her, telling her that he would kill her the moment anyone from the outside world came into view.
Not Arnaud.
What?
What's his name?
Yeah, Arnaud. Oh, sorry, not. No. Alvarez. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Arnaud is dead.
Yeah, and that was her husband.
Yeah.
It's so sorry.
That's okay.
This behavior and situation went on for nearly 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
Oh, those poor women.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever do anything to the kids?
I don't know.
Probably.
I think the youngest of them was, like, the youngest woman was, like, 13.
Oh.
So, like, technically, yes.
A child.
Yeah, but not, like, the younger kids. I don't know, though.
Oh, that's so awful.
So during this time, the women and children tried their best to survive however they could. They divvied up the food. They used leftover scraps from the buildings to make a semblance of some form of home. And they really just tried to stick together and be there for each other.
Of course.
Meanwhile, Alvarez cycled through the women, taking one at a time up to his lighthouse and keeping them there for weeks on end.
Oh my God.
Then, one day, in July of 1917, Alvarez appeared at the settlement with a rifle in hand, dragging Tirza out of his lighthouse. Tirza always got the worst of it. She was, like, kind of his top choice.
Oh.
And so he dragged her out of the lighthouse. He threw her on the ground near the women and children's shelter. And then he threateningly requested Alicia to come to his lighthouse in the morning. So he goes back to the lighthouse.
Right.
Absolutely fed up with Alvarez's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Tirza whispered to the women that now is the time.
Fuck yeah.
The next morning, Alicia and Tirza walked up to the lighthouse where they found Alvarez outside cooking a bird that he had managed to catch. He was apparently in a good mood until he saw that Alicia brought Tirza with her. Some reports claim that they also brought Alicia's son, but I only saw that reported once.
Oh, that would be a little weird.
Yeah. It would be a little weird. So I don't know if he is there.
Yeah.
But
okay. Whatever.
Regardless,
so they're there.
Alvarez was super upset that Alicia brought others with her and started yelling at Alicia relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Tirza snuck into the lighthouse, coming back out with her hands behind her back. She approached Alvarez from behind and hit him over the head with a hammer, shattering his skull 3 different times.
Damn, girl.
Yeah. So, he's dead.
Listen, we don't condone violence, but hell yeah, bitches.
We do condone defending yourself and survival. Yes.
Wow, good for them.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like the amount of courage.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
That takes so much courage.
Yeah. So
for her
much.
to go with, what's her name? Sorry.
Alicia.
To go with Alicia.
Back to the place of, like, her hell.
And be like, okay, I'm going to try to sneak in. Oh, imagine, like, her anxiety probably was through the roof. She sneaks in. She's like, okay,
what do I grab?
Yeah.
Because I was
first of
thinking,
all.
like, what if she grabbed a gun and the gun didn't fire or something like that? Like, it was really smart that she grabbed, like, a physical weapon.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
Okay, what happens
Amazing.
next? What do they do with him?
So, he's dead on the ground.
Yeah.
They're kind of just like, holy fuck, we just did this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, an American gunboat patrolling the west coast of North and South America was looking for German U-boats because they believed that Germans had established secret radio and submarine bases in the Pacific, and that kind of area would be perfect, like a hiding spot for them.
Yeah.
So as Alicia and Tirza are just stood still in the shock of the aftermath of the attack, they catch sight of the Yorktown ship, that American ship. So they scream and they jump and they yell, and the boat comes to the island.
Oh.
And picks them up.
Oh.
Puts down the thing, whatever, however they get, I don't know. They meet the captain and the navigator lieutenant, and they tell them everything that happened. They tell them about Alvarez. They tell them how long they've been stranded there, everything. The captain went to investigate the lighthouse, where he found Alvarez's dead body on the ground. And they decided together, the captain and the navigator, they decided not to report anything major about Alvarez except that he died of scurvy. They were eager to protect the survivors from the potential legal and social repercussions of what happened on Clipperton Island.
That makes me want to cry.
And yeah.
What? That's so beautiful.
They kept the secret for 17 years.
Oh my God.
They would not speak about it. I know.
Wow.
It's amazing. They were like, no, these women have been through way too much. Like,
oh my God.
We will not talk about this. Yeah.
That's an ally.
Yeah. Truly.
That's an ally.
Yes.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy. I was not expecting that. I was scared. I was like, oh no.
I know.
Now they're going to be like, oh, you women killed a man.
Yeah. But no, they're the real MVPs. Simultaneously, as the ship anchored, a secondary boat appeared with Alicia's father aboard.
Oh my God. Whoa. What?
He had been questioning Mexican authorities about his daughter and about Clipperton Island, only to be told repeatedly that all the colonists had died.
Oh.
Obviously, they were wrong, and a beautiful reunion took place right there during the rescue. I know. And apparently a bunch of the crew members on the ship were crying as they saw like Alicia be reunited with her father.
That's so beautiful.
I know. It's really cute.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. A small monetary fund was established by the crewmen of the ship, which helped the survivors start new lives on the mainland. By July 22nd, 1917, the 3 women and 8 children were taken to the Mexican mainland to restart their lives. The locals were so grateful to the Americans for the rescue, and they threw a giant party for everyone at the local hotel.
Cool.
Initially, this is kind of an afterward thing, but initially the captain of the ship thought that Alicia was around 40 years old, but in reality, she was only 29.
Whoa.
Many of the other survivors were several years younger than they looked, and then that initially people thought about them because they had all suffered insane hardships on the island that very clearly aged them very quickly.
Wow.
Then through some weird like Vatican and Italian president fucking monarch whatever connections, that's when Clipperton Island was officially rewarded to France. I don't know how they got involved, but they were like, the Vatican, can you figure out who Clipperton Island should belong to? And then, actually, I guess that kind of makes sense, because, like, didn't Italy and Spain colonize Mexico? Anyways. So they asked the Vatican, and then the Vatican was like, let's ask the Italian I don't think it's president isn't the right word, but
it would have been royals.
Okay, they're like, let's ask the Italian king.
Yeah, didn't they have, or what year is it?
It says 1917.
Yeah, didn't they have like a royal family, and then they had like presidency, and then there was that whole dictatorship, and now it's not a dictatorship.
Yeah, probably true. Yeah, so which is just weird, but now it belongs to France.
But what did Mexico have to say to that?
Mexico was probably like, I don't fucking care anymore.
Okay.
because fuck
Yeah,
everyone.
honestly, I get it. Just, like, fucking take it at this point, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there are still occasional visits to this island by various groups of scientists, environmentalists, militarists, and etc. Like you said, you can like go there somehow, but it's like covered in trash, right? So
Right.
Alicia's son, Raymond Arnaud Jr., also revisited the island with Jacques Cousteau,
What?
in 1980 to see his birthplace.
Whoa.
However, no one has tried to settle on the island again. And that is the story of the Clipperton Island Colony.
That is bonkers.
I know.
Wait, when did the lighthouse get torn down?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't really... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
It just did. At
just
some
did.
point. Wow, that's so crazy. What
know.
the heck?
I have first heard the story literally 2 days ago from this YouTube channel called Scary Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like just watching like oh, people were stranded on this island, what happened? And then it was like, and then Alvarez was the king of the island, and I was like, what? I was like, this is actually way more in-depth crazy story than I was expecting to happen.
Wow.
So I thought I'd share it with you.
Wow, that's so crazy.
I know.
How many other crazy stories are out there like that?
I know.
We have to find them.
Yeah, we do.
That was so crazy.
There's another shipwreck one I watched that I actually loved so much.
Okay, we'll do it then.
Well, sorry. It wasn't, well, it's not that I mean, it's interesting. It's not true crime, though.
Oh.
It wasn't a shipwreck. The TLDR on that one is like this captain was having a fight with one of his guys on the boat because the guy on the boat was like, I don't trust you and we need to go back home.
Yeah.
And then the captain was like, that's mutiny. I'm going to put you on this island. Or no, the guy was like, I want to get off this boat. Let me go on the island.
Yeah.
And then he let him, and the guy thought that he was just like kind of playing around.
Yeah.
But then the captain was like, no, this is mutiny. You're not allowed to come back. I'm going to leave you here. So he left him there. And he was there for like years, like 10 or 15 years, just surviving on the island. I think
you should do a story about it. That sounds so cool.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Then I won't spoil the ending.
No, that's so interesting.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And that's on islands.
That's on islands. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
And we hope you have a beautiful Sunday.
Beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Enjoy the sun. Spring is finally sprung.
Woohoo!
Yay, the sun is here.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or corrections, you can
email us at ghoulsocietypod@gmail.com.
Or you can send us a hello message or a story through Instagram at
Ghoul Society Pod.
You can also find all of our... I always forget. Oh, yeah. You can. Okay. I got it. You can always find all of our resources and trigger warnings down in each episode's show notes. And we thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Okay.
I was so tired. I got really tired. Oh, no.
I'm the one who got woken up at 4:30 in the morning.
I know.